Well, to discuss what we can expect next in this political wrangling from Washington, we're joined now by Scott Lucas, a professor of American politics at the University of Birmingham. Good morning to you. So the Democrats, clearly, they're a step further forward, a big step further forward in this impeachment inquiry. What is the strength of their evidence at this point?
Well, the strength of this evidence on the Trump-Ukraine case is that through more than a dozen current and former U.S. officials now, they have been able to document a campaign by Trump and by his attorney, Rudy Giuliani, to pressure Kiev into opening an investigation of the presidential candidate Joe Biden, an investigation of the Democratic Party, and an investigation to cover up Russia's interference in the 2016 election. Specifically, this campaign went so far that, according to these officials, Donald Trump withheld military aid from Ukraine, which of course is facing a great deal of pressure from Russia, that he withheld that military aid unless the investigations were opened. Now, if those allegations are established, it constitutes, in the words of one current National Security Council official, a threat to U.S. national security. And that is a threat to U.S. national security that's not for any reason of U.S. foreign policy, but for Donald Trump's personal gain. In other words, an abuse of office and a possible crime.
How robust is the president in dealing with this? He's quite famously managed to combat various scandals up until now. Has this undermined him greatly at this point?
Well, you all know that Donald Trump never takes a step back and believes that a best defense is a good offense. So we have gotten dozens of tweets and retweets about using the ritual he used for the Trump-Russia inquiry, a witch hunt, a hoax, a sham. But if you go through Trump's public statements and his Twitter line, he's extremely rattled. He's concerned. The louder he shouts, the more you can see that he realizes that he may have basically stepped into this because he deliberately, according to the evidence, deliberately embarked on an alternative foreign policy without authorization from Congress and probably against rulings of the courts. So no, Trump, despite all the bluster, is worried.
There's going to be a significant gear change now. All of these proceedings have happened behind closed doors. Now they're going to be widely available to the public, televised, in fact. Donald Trump no longer can control the narrative. So how much is this gear change going to affect the president's position?
Well, first of all, you'll see the attempt to control the narrative, not only by Trump and by those Republican House members who you saw in your report, who will put out the diversionary argument that somehow they've been shut out of the process, that this was all a sham, none of which is actually true. This process has been basically conducted according to the rules so far. But how much will it affect Trump? Well, there's two questions here. The first is, when this moves to the Senate, and I think it will after Donald Trump is impeached, will enough Republicans, 20 out of 53 are needed, shift and vote against the president to convict him and put him out of office? If they don't convict him, and there's only a slim chance he will this cause him so much political damage that he will not be able to be reelected and have a second term of 4 years for all of us to discuss? The first question is dependent upon Republican loyalty to Trump. The second is dependent upon American voters next November.
Thank you very much for your evaluation. Scott Lucas, a professor of American politics at the University of Birmingham.